Hello fellow simmers, it's Samuel Beamon of BLS here and welcome to the first Train Sim World 5 video I've ever actually done on the channel. So yeah, welcome to it, I hope you've enjoyed. And today I'm looking at something that has been released for a little while now. I've wanted to look at it for a really long time, to be honest, and it's the Class 47/7 pack produced by Daniel Wyatt. So this pack isn't technically a BLS product. Well, it is, but it isn't. It's a collaboration project with multiple members of the train sim community. So this was something that Dan came up with, and basically, in order to do what he wanted, he needed to seek help from train sim community members of the train sim community who helped him out on certain bits and pieces within this pack. So, as you can see in front of us is the Class 47/7, which is the push-pull variant of Class 47. And basically, it was used predominantly in Scotland for ScotRail services, mainly the push-pull with DBSO stock. But it is also fitting for the Blackpool branches and the West Coast Mainline over Shap, because it is known for 47s in random liveries to basically stray afar from their home ground. So you might have got the odd ScotRail one here and there being hauled, pulling a train here and there. So basically, this is a collaboration project with Rob S, SprattyHeath, and Bescot. Those three in particular helped Dan out with this pack. And yeah, it is a very, very nice pack, which we'll see as we go along. So currently I've got the sound muted in the game because, well I'm in photo mode, theoretically. But yeah, because we don't want to hear all these 47s idling away while we look around them. So, first things first, we want to have a look around the two original 47s that came with the pack. So it has had an update as of late to add new liveries and new coaching stock. So these 47s have been fitted with child objects, which were made by Dan himself, and that is these EDM jumpers here for the push-pull operations. But as you can see, he's done a really, really good job on the detail there, on capturing the jumpers. I mean, just look at that. I mean, I like how the background is just like blurred, so we can actually really see, the front end of that 47 well. But yeah, so those are incredibly smart. He's done those very, very well. So, other features we have are the nameplates. So we've got custom 3D nameplates. This is St. Cuthbert 47702. And also he's gone to the detail of placing the data panels on the side as well. So we've got the actual official 47/7 data panels. You can see here that the livery itself is very nicely done. Obviously we've got two different ends because that's as standard with the JT47. I just like how they've got the two different head code box marker lights. So you've got the sort of protruding outward markers and the flat markers on the other side. But yeah, you can see, he's done an incredible job on this reskin. It really does look superb. So his main inspiration for these reskins are basically 47712, Lady Diana Spencer, which is Dan's favourite 47, and it's currently LSL owned, and obviously it's used on rail tours around the country as of today. So that is the standard ScotRail livery without plows. Now if we head over to the next one, which is ScotRail livery with plows. So you can see here it's got the added plows on here. So originally this pack required both the Blackpool branches and West Coast Mainline over Shap, but obviously now that we've got the West Coast Mainline, Shap route by Just Trains, Preston Carlisle to be exact, the Blackpool branches DLC was no longer needed for these, and therefore was unnecessary DLC to be required for this pack. So that was removed. So now it only requires the Preston Carlisle DLC by Just Trains now. But yeah, so this is 47701 St Andrew. So this is an interesting one because this, I believe, is the only 47 to have black nameplates rather than red. So it's a very, very interesting, unique variant or version of 47 that comes with this pack. So I'm going to read out the versions of 47s that you get with this pack because I may as well do it now because I haven't placed them all down because otherwise we'll be here forever looking for them all. So this is what's included so far. So there may be more variants included later on. So we've got 47461 Charles Rennie Mackintosh, which we'll see at some point soon. 47701 St Andrew, which we're looking at. 47702 St Cuthbert, which we've already seen. 47703 St Mungo. 47704 Doondin. I'm sorry if I butcher names. 47705 Lothian. 47706 Strathclyde. 47707 Holyrood, or Holyrood even. 47708 Waverley. 47709 the Lord Provost. 47710 Sir Walter Scott. 47711 Greyfairs Bobby. And 47712 Lady Diana Spencer. So in total you get various members of the class with this pack, which is just brilliant because you've got a nice range of different classmates to choose from. The only thing that Dan hasn't been able to suss out at the moment is getting these locomotives into timetable mode. So obviously you know how locomotives sometimes spawn in. Obviously, you know, it's part of the timetable. Like if you spawn in on foot, and you might get the odd, you know, variant of 47 that just shows up randomly. These don't do that. Unfortunately, these have not been implemented into the timetable mode. So the only way that you can get these in the game at the moment is if you spawn them in within the timetable mode. They don't actually spawn themselves. So that is one flaw to this pack so far. It would be nice that you know, if these could, like, you know, be a part of the timetable and just, you know, spawn in as part of the route basically. But hey ho, is what it is. You can't do much about it. Dan doesn't really know how to do that. It could be something for the future, who knows? But yeah, but this is what we have right now. So that's 47701 St Andrew with its plows. And now we head over to two newer liveries which have been added to the pack, and that is a BR large logo and a BR blue with silver roof. So these two are recent additions. These have been added in as of late. Can't remember what version this one is. So the version we're actually looking at is... Let me just check. Okay, it doesn't necessarily have a version number, but we've got a change log. So this is the 13th of February 2025 update, where it includes the BR large logo and BR blue liveries. It also includes 47.4 in ScotRail, 47.461, which was in collaboration with Natty Dread, if I'm not mistaken, and we will see that in a bit. So yeah, so we're going to have a look around the BR liveries now. So these are pretty standard. We've seen these a couple of times on the standard 47s that you get with Blackpool branches and Preston Carlisle. So basically, in a sense, it's a large logo 47 with the EDM jumpers added and all the fancy equipment, obviously, that 47.7s have. We've also got like little bits and pieces like this as well. This extra piping here, which is very cool. But yeah, so that is 47.707 Holyrood, and unfortunately this is another issue with the pack which Dan hasn't yet found out why it does that. But if you look at the nameplate in certain angles or certain lighting, sometimes it can have some weird shader problems. Why this is, Dan doesn't yet know, but unfortunately at present he cannot fix that. So that's just something that you're going to have to bear in mind, that there is some, or the odd shader issue sometimes on the nameplates. Something to do with the weathering. I'm not sure why it does that. So yeah, but that is one thing to note as well. So heading over to the BR blue livery, this is Strathclyde. This is 47706 to be exact. Again, BR blue silver roof with the cables attached, and obviously the 3D nameplates as well. So yeah, basically standard, very standard livery, but with the 47/7 variant. So those are basically the liveries that you get within the pack, or the 47/7 variants with all their liveries, which, as you can see, Dan has done an absolutely sterling job on this, as have the other people involved. So basically, how it goes, and contributions, shall we say. So I'm just reading it now. So we've had Rob S, who did the base 47/7 skin, and the general idea of creating the pack. Okay, so that's interesting. So Rob S did the base reskin. So not all of this was necessarily Dan. So Rob S has helped with the reskins themselves. So well done, Rob. And also he's given countless amount of help for it as well. SprattyHeath has improved the 47/7 skin texturing of the TDM cables, so the texturing of the cables themselves, and basically teaching Dan how to texture in Substance Painter. So, yeah. And then Bescot did the 47/7 weathering. So we've had some decent contributions towards this pack. It's certainly, you know, it's and it has proven popular. I know that Tom from Just Trains is really impressed with these, and him himself thinks that these are to sort of, you know, DLC standards, to sort of payware DLC standards, which is just absolutely fantastic to even, you know, to hear that kind of feedback on these. Yeah, so they're the 47/7 variants. So if we head over to here now, we're going to have a look at the 47/4, which is another recent addition to the update that happened in February this year. So this is Charles Rennie McIntosh. This is a collaboration with Natty Dread, who actually gave us the reference material for the nameplate, so it can be recreated in Train Sim World. So this is 47/461. Basically, this is just a bonus reskin to be added with the pack, you know, because it's the only 47/4 to receive the ScotRail livery back in the day. So it was an interesting one to add. It was something a bit different. But also, what we do get with this pack as well is a set of coaching stock with it as well. So we've got, as you can see, we've got the lovely Mark IIIs here in ScotRail, which are looking incredibly smart. Unfortunately, at present in Train Sim World, we don't have a DBSO, which is a real shame, to be honest, but is what it is. So at the moment, we're having to obviously reskin the BGs into ScotRail, and obviously the Mark III coaches as well. So next up, we've also got this. So these are preset consists, by the way. So that's the 5, 6 of 1. That's a 6-coach rake there. So then we've got here, which is, I believe, is the 5-coach rake. Yes. So this is a slightly shortened rake, but you can see here, you know, it's done very well. So the difference here, you can see that this one in particular has some first-class coaches added, and this one here is just your box standard second-class passenger stock. So yeah, let's have a look at what 47 is hauling this set right here. So this is Lothian 47/705, very nice, with plows there. And yeah, so that is basically the variants that you get with the pack. That is the pack in its entirety. I'll make sure I link in the description of the video the links to the download links for this pack. So it is available via British Locomotive Studios and Train Sim Community. So obviously, if you want to get hold of this pack, I highly recommend it. But before we end off our video, I think we're just going to hop into one of these 47s and just take them for a little drive along one of the routes. So, stay tuned guys, I'll see you in a minute. Right, after trying for about 20 minutes to spawn this bloody thing in timetable, we've finally got 47/712 Lady Diana Spencer to show you guys. So here she is. So I chose this one because I knew this is one in particular a lot of people would like to see. So Here she is, Lady Diana Spencer. And as you can see, we're in the timetable mode on Preston Carlisle, and we're operating a rail tour. And you know, I'm just going to get a quick photo of that because that looks really quite nice. So there we go. And there is the nameplate. There we are. So another thing I like about this pack as well, what they've done is they've actually got the numbers in the cab. So you've got 47712 at the top of the cab there, which is nice to see. So we'll set up this cab, get ourselves moving. Open up the door there just to get a bit of noise. Or a window even. There we are, so it's basically non-stop to Carlisle with this. Right, so we're all ready to go. So without further ado, we'll put her into forward. Quick toot on the horn. Throttle on. Release the loco brake, and off we go. So yeah, you can use these 47/7s in the Carlisle Preston timetable mode. I believe it's Cathcart Circle line. You can use it on there. You can use it basically anywhere where the Blackpool branches and Preston Carlisle 47s can be used. So you can also use them on West Somerset Railway if you wish. The only thing, as I said earlier, that they can't do is they can't spawn in, so they won't, like, you've got to spawn them in yourself, like in the timetable mode, in the locomotive selection list. Select your locomotive, obviously select 47/7, and it will be in the game, but basically they won't spawn in themselves. So, before anyone asks, this is a PC mod only, so anyone who's watching this who is a console user, you will not be able to use these on consoles. That is the pros to having Train Sim World on PC. You can download mods such as these new 47s, or even some various sound mods and other bits and pieces that are available on the Train Sim community website. I'll make sure I link the website in the description of the video along with ours, so take a look at some of the many content that they have to offer. So we're not going to be driving the entire 77 miles to Carlisle, otherwise, well, we'll be sat here forever. So what we'll do is we'll just have a little bit more of a drive, have a little look round, and yeah, and then we'll end the video there. I don't expect you to stay sitting here for an entire 77 mile run. There's a lot of track and a lot of hours to sit through watching me drive a 47, and I'm pretty sure that you guys would want to be driving it yourselves instead of watching somebody else drive it. Now, one of the things I will comment about this route is it's very, very nice and all. I don't know whether it's just necessarily my game or I don't know, but I do tend to get some frame rate stutter, like now and again. You've probably noticed. Oh no, this isn't the only route that does that, because the London Euston route, well, I wish it was London Euston to Crewe, but it's not. It's London Euston to Milton Keynes, I believe. That also has frame rate spike issues. If anyone knows why I'm getting this, or has any ideas to how I can improve my tile stutter and frame rate lags, etc., obviously please let me know. I'll be interested to know, because it is rather annoying. So you can see it's not a very smooth run, it's not a very smooth drive I'm having right now. I'm just getting stutter and stutter. And it's annoying because it affects like the sounds as well, so when it extremely lags it affects the sounds. So I'm not overly impressed with how Train Sim World 5 is running on my machine. I never used to get this issue with Train Sim World 4. Don't know whether that's something to do with the new hard drive as well that I could be using, but to be honest, the hard drive speed-wise look relatively good. So, I don't know. But yeah, I've recently obtained a new drive to be able to play this, so you can now see more Train Sim World 5 videos from me in the future now. Yeah, as you can see, the stutter is really, really annoying. Approaching a red signal, so I'll put her in the on position. will start slowing up. The route itself though, obviously, you know, just putting the performance issues that I'm having aside with the stutter, which is really annoying. The route itself, detail wise, is absolutely fantastic, as to be expected by JT. They've done an absolutely sterling job on it. It does look absolutely stunning. And just like their Blackpool branches route, it's definitely one of the best Train Sim World routes that you can get hold of. But yeah, so if any of you guys know why I'm getting sort of tile stutter or tile lag, obviously let me know, because I would like to try and improve my experience on this, because it's really annoying. As I say, I never used to get this with Train Sim World 4. It's just like Train Sim World 5 it just seems to be running a bit naff. I just don't know why. She does look nice, doesn't she? Well, we're at yellow now, so... Obviously chasing another train in front. And we've got wildlife as well, like cows and stuff like that. Another thing I do like about this route as well is the detail on the stations, so you can actually go inside some of the stations and stuff as well, like in the cafes and the toilets and stuff like that. I'll do a little bit more of an in-depth look at the route on another stage, but obviously for now we're just really just showing off the 47s today. Nice sweeping curve this. But yeah, so there's not really much else I can say about the 47s. I think we've pretty much covered everything that we want to cover within this video. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this video, guys. Let me know in the comments if you would like me to do more Train Sim World 5 videos in the future. We'll be interested to hear your feedback. And yeah, make sure you go and get the Class 47/7 pack by Daniel Wyatt, Rob S, SprattyHeath and Bescot from the third party section of the British Locomotive Studios Train Sim World content area, or from Train Sim Community. Both websites shall be linked in the description. So, thank you for watching, guys. This has been Samuel Beamon of BLS, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye for now.